At 6:10 a.m. on April 19, 2026, North Korea launched multiple ballistic missiles from the Sinpo area, breaking a fragile period of regional calm. While South Korean officials scrambled to convene emergency security meetings, the Pentagon monitored the radar tracks from a distance, characterizing the immediate threat as minimal. This was the 7th launch of the year, and the 4th time Pyongyang had flight tested its arsenal in the month of April alone. The frequency of these tests suggests a regime operating with sudden impunity, firing into a buffer zone that is usually among the most tightly monitored spaces on Earth. Historically, this region relied on a dense, combined US-South Korea defense posture, designed to make mass provocations like these too risky to attempt. That deterrence is currently being tested because of a crisis unfolding 6,000 miles away, where the closure of the Strait of Hormuz has become a primary consumer of American military power. As the conflict escalated, Middle East logistics began stripping the Pacific of its defensive shield, creating a physical vacuum Pyongyang was quick to identify. When Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz in response to a US blockade, the American military was forced into a rapid, desperate logistical shift. To protect assets in the Persian Gulf, the Pentagon redeployed critical air defense networks from the Pacific, specifically pulling Patriot PAC-3 systems and THAAD missile defense batteries from their stations. Offensive capabilities followed, including Marine units and an amphibious assault ship previously based in Okinawa, Japan. This redeployment triggered immediate scrutiny in Washington, where commanders faced congressional questioning over how much missile defense readiness was actually left in the Korean theater. By moving these specific batteries and ships, the U.S. removed the primary hardware required to maintain the baseline of Pacific deterrence. Financial markets often register these shifts in power long before they are formally acknowledged by diplomats. In late March, the Kospi Index plunged 19.9%, the worst sell-off South Korea has seen since the 2008 financial crisis. Foreign investors pulled nearly 36 trillion won out of the market, fleeing the region because they calculated the U.S. shield was gone. For Kim Jong-un, the U.S. entanglement in Iran represents a strategic window for action, without the typical threat of consequence. North Korea is using this period to shift its 2026 strategy from the testing phase to industrial-scale mass production of its most advanced weapons. The regime is now deploying solid-fuel, instant-action ICBMs. Because these rockets don't require the visible, hours-long fueling process of older models, they significantly reduce the time U.S. intelligence has to react. This leap is being fueled by a Russian barter system. North Korean munitions are traded for advanced Russian reactor technology, accelerating a new 8,700-ton nuclear submarine. While Washington focused on the Middle East, Pyongyang permanently upgraded its strike capability, turning a temporary distraction into a lasting military advantage. The April 19th launch served as the first physical confirmation that the Pacific's dense security network had been significantly thinned. By coordinating multiple launches, North Korea demonstrated that it can now overwhelm the few stretched thin tracking systems still active in the region. This newly exposed vulnerability will cast a shadow over the mid-May summit in Beijing, where the U.S. must discuss regional stability with the Chinese leadership. President Trump will be forced to negotiate from a position defined by the hardware he no longer has stationed in the Pacific. The April 19th barrage served as a calculated audit of American distraction. The security of Seoul and Tokyo is now inextricably linked to the ongoing chaos in the Middle East, as assets remain tied to the front in Iran. As long as the defensive shield remains diverted, the clock in the Pacific continues to tick, leaving the world to wonder what happens when the next blips on the radar stop being tests.